it feels like when I market, I just market loosely, like just relax, because I'm like, look, if you buy, cool, and if you don't, that's fine. Yeah, either way, it's I wish you the best. And if you get into that frame of mind, your marketing truly, I know this sounds like a cheesy product, your marketing, but it really does become effortless. And people are going to start to email you, because I have clients who start going through my model and they're like, my God, people used to ignore my emails and my click-throughs were crap. And now I get emails. Oh my God, I loved your email. I love your story. I love what you said. It really resonates with me. You're going to start to get that a lot, as opposed to looking at, every stat and every number, and there's a time and a place for that. But when that's your primary driver and your focus, it stops being organic. It stops being loose, and it starts being, man, I got to make the sale, and people feel it.
You hear all the bull about marketing every day. Make your money in your sleep. My new offer is crushing it. My guru could beat up your guru. It's time to go right to the source and get the truth about marketing. With your host, the founder of copychief.com, Kevin Rogers.
All right, my man, Ryan Lee, thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate it.
Kev, anytime, my friend.
You are, I got to say, I owe you a lot, man. I have said this before. I want to say it publicly right here. You're responsible for a lot of firsts in my career.
Well, first, I appreciate that. And it's not, you owe me everything, pretty much is what it is. No. Kev, you know, look, I'll do anything for you. I knew from the first time we spoke that you just had that gift, the copy, the hooks, all the stuff you were doing. And then when I was chatting with you, I'm like, man, I got to get you on stage at my event. And I'm just like, this guy is just special. Like, you had so much of a career ahead of time before that, with the stand-up comedy, when you used to, do the comedy and sell out crowd of 4 people, when you were rocking the stage and stuff. But,
that's right.
But no, I knew you had the goods. So
I appreciate it. Well,
I'm so happy.
I didn't mean that as an open loop for you to compliment me, but I just, there's.
But I'll take the loop, baby.
Certain people in your career, you're just, you're a giver, dude, and it really touched me at your last live event, Freedom Fest, that it just really turned into this sort of very cool feeling, very organic feeling, like homage to Ryan, which you would never purposely set up an event to do that. But man, the outpouring of love there was really cool. And dude, what about that speaker lineup? So my first question, were you on live events, man? Is it going to happen again? Or why do and don't you do them what's the deciding factor?
The way I look at it, there are really kind of 2 different live events I do. I do the bigger multi-day, multi-speaker, usually 2-day event, which is a lot of fun, but it's a lot to put on.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of effort. The thing is, a couple of years ago, I made a decision to not do any pitching for my event. Like, it was, when I say controversial, it's not like a million people like, ooh, and I'm on, NBC News with people talking about, like, come on, let's get real. But
this just in.
But the truth is, this just but the truth is, in our world of online marketing and internet business, whatever you want to call it, most people, and 95% of the events are pitch, even though they say we're not. Like it used. Look, Kev, it used to be just a pitch fest. Like, you'd go to an event and there'd be 10 speakers in a day, and 8 would be pitching hard. They'll throw in some BS panel where they don't, but everyone's pitching hard.
Yeah.
And then they started to shift because there was so much blowback. They're like, well, we're a no pitch event. But it is really a pitch, because the whole thing is everything is designed for their one big pitch at the end. It's to promote their, $40,000 give me a back rub coaching program, with all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is a big lead up. And that's BS. So I decided that I'm just not going to do any pitching. It's not a big lead up to anything. I'm literally, leave your credit card in the room, and we're just going to give for 2 days. The model, it works. Like well.
But that's a huge risk, though, right?
It's a huge risk. It's a huge risk. When I say it works in terms of we get people in the room. People love it. They connect. There's a really good vibe. People walk away saying, man, that was the best like 2 days I ever, had. reality is short term, the income doesn't match what it used to. Because when I spoke at one event on that stage, I sold $250,000 from the stage.
Oh,
now,
nice.
I'm being transparent. My event, the no pitch, no anything event, and you come for a couple of $100, I'm not making $200,000, but it's okay. But it does, there are times when I'm like, I'm a little either burned out and I just want to be home and watch Netflix with my kids, where I just don't want to put the effort in, because then I'll do like a small workshop. I'll do like a little one day with 6 or 7 people for like $1,000 each. And, and it's fun, and I get to really connect and help a lot of people. So I go up in the air. If I was smart, I would, like the Freedom Fest I did last year, I would continue the momentum and do one again this year and do it every fall.
Yeah.
But I'm not that smart sometimes. And the reality is I really don't need the money at this point. The money's nice. Believe me, I'll take it. But the amount of effort, work I put in just really isn't worth justification of all that. So with that being said, I think what I'm going to do is maybe in January, depending on people listening to this, do kind of a smaller event for maybe, 200 people that's kind of for Freedom members only, like a 2-day unconference where there's no guest speakers, where the only people speaking are the people who are Freedom members who I pull up, we open up the laptop, and this is what people like anyway, and we start saying, okay, hey, Jose, I know you did a summit last one, you made 50 grand, you did it from scratch, let's see how you did it. And I hold them to the fire. And he's like, well, then I did a Facebook ad. I'm like, oh, well, open up and let's see what you did. So there's no pitch, there's no BS, and everyone's there to share and give. So that's what I'm thinking of doing now.
That's very cool. Yeah. And so Freedom University is your private membership group. And
yes. It used to be called Freedom University, but we changed it just to make it simpler. It's just called Freedom now.
With a Y. FREEDYM. Okay, so freedom.com.
Yes.
Awesome.
Freedom.com.
See that? One little typo can get you a really great URL if you're.
I know. And it's funny. Everyone asks me, well, how did you come up with Freedom with the Y? And I was, Kevin, in copy and everything with your hook, it really is about the benefit. Like, what's the benefit of what you're giving? And mine was, at the end of the day, it was always about freedom. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what if I get kind of a cool spelling? And I just type in freedom.com into like GoDaddy and it's available. I'm like, what? Like I spelled, and I did it 3 times. I'm like, all right, there must be a problem because this should be taken. So I just grabbed it and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to build a business around it, but I got to take that domain name. Yeah. And that's what it ends up becoming.
Fantastic. So the total shift in, so the next question I want to ask you is, because you have 15 years at least into this, right?
Well, actually, my first site was 1999. So as of this recording, it's 17 years. 17 years. And I'm only 18 years old, which
I know,
is amazing.
It's amazing. That's good. You look older, but you sound great. You sound young.
Thank you.
Vibrant. And so another thing I love is that, man, you really work on whim. This could kill a lot of people in business, right? You're not the most calculated guy in the world. You really go by feeling, and this comes across in your email. I will say another thing I want to declare publicly: you are one of the most not only prolific but impactful,
psychotic,
email copywriters out there. But you're not a guy. Maybe it's because you don't ever call yourself a copywriter or anything like that. When everybody's talking about best email copywriter, I don't see your name come up. But every time I read your emails, I go, damn, like every freaking time. I mean, I've been doing this 11 years copywriting. I'm sitting there like reverse engineering. Like, how's he doing this? Like, how does he make me feel every damn time? It almost seems like you're not talking about that much because you're really personal. You're talking about something that happened in your day, and they're not long at all. But by the time I get to the end of it, I honestly feel like I've had an emotional exchange with you, just like when we talk. So what? I know you. I know that I could ask you to break that down. You probably can't even do it. Right? You're just. This is you being you on the page.
Yeah, it is funny because I really don't consider myself a copywriter. Although if I look back over the 17 years, I've written probably 98% of my own copy, and the only time I didn't, at least for my own marketing business, was the time I paid you and Ben to go through it and kind of do a little of it and made some changes. That really was the only time I've ever paid anyone. But I look at it, and I said this a while ago. Michael Fishman's quoted me on it a few times where I said, don't write like a copywriter, just communicate like a friend. Yeah. And I I truly, people say that, and that's kind of the in vogue thing to say now. Oh, be authentic.
Right.
But I don't know. I've always felt like, what other way is there to be? It never felt right not being yourself. So I really think an important part is each day, like getting in a routine. So for me, it took me a long time to figure out. For me, it's being in a coffee shop and kind of having that latte and the smells and the sounds, and I just turn on that. Okay, let me write, let me communicate, and I get the Andre Chaperone, that great stuff with his autoresponders and all the things people are doing, and hey, can I have a swipe file? And I totally get it, and I'm not saying it doesn't work, because it obviously does. Mm-hmm. For me, what works is that feeling of a live email, because there is something about it, and I don't know what it is, but people can almost have this sense of, this is real, this is live, mm-hmm. this is happening, versus this is can't. I mean, that's why I throw a lot of, hey, it's a rainy Monday, or hey, or I'll bring in something about the news. Oh, check out the new whatever on Netflix from last night. But I truly think it's about communicating as a friend. Like my dad is on my list, my sister's on my list, all my friends from high school and growing up, I mean, they're all on my list. So if I come out with who else wants to make $100 while sitting in your underwear, like, it just feels like such a shady, sleazy, like it's just not me. So I'd rather give people like a good content, some story, and then like, hey, P.S., here's what I have. If this is cool, if this resonates with you, here you go. And if not, that's fine too. Like, it's all good. And I think it takes the pressure off me trying to monetize every single oh my God, that email only got 18.2% click-through rate. I got to I got to reverse engineer. And like, fuck that part. No, pardon my French. Yeah. Screw that. Like, just start giving. And when you can just relax, like, just take a deep breath, be like, man, I'm just going to share. I'm going to share some good stuff. I'm going to give. I want people to like this. I want them to look forward to getting my email every morning. It just puts you in a man, what's my CT? I'm not putting down the hardcore marketers, because I understand that's a valuable part of the business.
Right.
I don't look at any stats, but I think if that it screws up your flow. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, cool. We're breaking in and out a little bit. I just want to point that out, because I don't want anybody to miss anything. Are you on a microphone, like a headset?
I'm on a headset on Skype at the library. I got 5 bars, baby. All right, maybe because I was moving. When I start getting in the groove, I start moving around. I'll sit still.
Okay, all right. This is good stuff. I don't want to miss it out. So something else you've been doing lately with email that I really dig is, and because you turned off blog comments a while ago, and I think we might have touched on that in the last first time you were on. But what you do now is you invite the discussion over on your Facebook page. Mm-hmm. So you sort of like duplicate the email and then let people weigh in there. Did that, again, just something you did on instinct, and how has that affected things?
Yeah, I did it on instinct because I found that, well, first of all, what happened with the blog is, you know how it is. You start getting so many spam comments, and, I found myself obsessing over that, and I would do an email, and I'm like, oh man, I only got 18 blog comments, and I started to write for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And I just said, and I saw the shift happening. Look, I saw, it going from 10% of people reading my emails on mobile to now it's like 90%. It's going to be 100% soon. There's going to be one person left on a friggin' laptop. Everyone else is looking on the phone. And everyone is on the phone, and they're on Facebook. And it just makes sense to get them over there, to get it social, especially if I'm not trying to sell. So I just like, let me try it. Let me put it on my Facebook page and see how it goes, and see if I can get some comments and some shares if people are interested in this. So it's kind of a way to get some social love, but also to still have people see the email. But I don't do it for every email.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I purposely don't, because there are some emails that just aren't the best for social, and I also want to make people being on my list be something different, unique, like getting content you can't get everywhere. Because if every single email is just on my Facebook, then you don't even have to subscribe, and you could just wait for Facebook updates. So I want to keep it a little bit special too, and there's still something personal about getting that email like that in your inbox saying, oh man, this is just for me.
Yeah.
So I'm always experimenting and trying, but Facebook really is kind of the place, as of now. Will it change? I don't know, but Zuckerberg, he's a smart guy, so I don't put anything past him. But I like having I I like Gary Vaynerchuk. I love the social stuff, but I don't subscribe to the whole be everywhere
Yeah. It's
model because I think it's impossible.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. So choose your you can't do it. So pick your lane and just go with it. So for me, it's email and Facebook, and that's where I'm living. And there's enough. I can't send the whole email is dead, but what are you talking about?
No.
And millennials don't check email. What are you, insane? Like, everyone checks their email.
Yeah,
I don't know one person that doesn't go a day without checking email.
Yeah, I like what Tim Ferriss says about that. He's like, yeah, millennials don't care about email until they get a job. and then it becomes an important part of their life. They learn very quickly to appreciate email. Yeah. So, and that's about when we start caring about them, oddly enough.
Yeah.
So, are you, Ryan, you're aware of the definition of an introvert versus extrovert, right? Essentially that, an introvert, an extrovert is fueled by being around people. An introvert feels drained for the experience and needs to, go off, be alone, recharge. Would you consider yourself an extrovert?
If you would have asked me that question a year or two ago, I would have said 100% I'm an extrovert. But the more I kind of learn about it and learn the difference, I really think I'm an introvert. Mm-hmm. I love being around people. Like I do. Like if I could just find a way, if I had a little stadium here, and every day I'd have 500 or 1,000 people come to see me, almost like a Vegas residency, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not delusional enough to think I could do that, but if I were to have one here, like in New Canaan, Connecticut, and people come, and every night I could do like a 1 or 2 hour thing and just rock the stage, that's heaven for me. But even with that being said, like it is, like after, and I love talking with people, hanging out and hugging, but when it's done, I'm done. Mm-hmm. Like I do get drained. Because I leave it all out on the floor. I mean, after the last time, I was so tired that, I always heard about celebrities. Oh, they were treated in the hospital for exhaustion. I'm like, oh, what a bunch of wusses. I understood after Freedom Fest. I understood what that was because I was on the stage almost the entire time for 2 days and gave it all. Yeah. And so I do like my downtime. And there are times where I miss doing the traveling and speaking and doing all the stuff. But I love also like being home. Yesterday, my kids and I, they were off. It was a Sunday, and I said, "Here's what we're doing, kids. We're all day. We're gonna like lay around all day and just watch movies and just hang out and that's what we did. And it was like the greatest day ever. Yeah. So I love being a homebody. I love being in my home, in my basement, my little cave. But I also like getting out. So it's kind of both. But I couldn't be out all day long because I'm just wiped. It does wipe me out.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't even know if I answered the question. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. No. Go ahead.
And I'll just tell you this one of the little things. Todd Herman, who we both know.
Yeah.
We were doing kind of co-coaching for each other. He was doing the mental stuff with me. I was helping with products. And one thing he said to me, which kind of transformed, he said, there are a lot of men and women who do this stuff, and they feel guilty about like being in their cave or woman cave, and they feel that. But he's like, but if that's your creative space and you need to do that sometimes, like don't feel bad about that. Like embrace it. And when I learned that, I'm like, yeah, man, you know what? I don't all the time. And I think that was a nice little shift for me, embracing that part, that little creative, crazy part, but still, being connected to the world and not being, like, what was it? Howard Hughes growing a beard and, being a nut job in my house. Right. I think you got to strike that balance.
Yeah, it's a good point. Because I see like you'll spontaneously invite, you always say, hey, this is a coffee shop where I hang out. Who wants to come meet me? Wednesday morning, right? and it just seems like you're really fueled by that. That's one thing you've done. Well, not one thing. You've done so much. But, man, you talk about a guy with no airs, So many people get it, they're caught up in this guru thing of, oh, okay, now that I'm a guru, I have to be less accessible. I have to be calculated about how people can reach me and all this. And you're just like, hey, man, this is where I'm at. If anybody's driving by, come hang out,
Please.
and you hold these awesome, like you said, a one day for $1,000 to go be able to spend the day with Ryan Lee. Are you kidding? Literally could change your life, change your business, undoubtedly would give you 5-10% or 10 times ROI. And you haven't stopped doing that kind of stuff. And I want to ask you why, but I want to specifically dial in on something you do that I love, which is these 15-minute consults. I want to say they're, what, $99 when you offer them. Once in a while, you'll just come out and say, guess what? For $100, 15 minutes of Ryan Lee. And why do you still do that?
Well, first, I do enjoy it. You would think it drains you, right? But I find when I get someone good on the phone who's motivated, it energizes me. Like the end of the call, I'm like, oh my God, I feel better than I did before. Like we started recording this, Kev, at 1:30 my time, and right before this, I talked to a guy for 15 minutes who I've known for a while now. He was in the Marines when he came out. He was 22, 23. Him and his buddy went out drinking one night. He drove. They got in a fatal car accident. His friend died. Yeah. He served prison time. Like, he changed his whole life. He just became pardoned because he's been doing public speaking for 5 years. Like, all the stuff he's going through, and he wants to be a speaker and get his word out. So talking to guys like that, men and women like that, is just amazing. So on a selfish reason, I enjoy it. Number two, I know it helps people. I know it because a lot of times it's just a shift. Like, they come in idea. You know how it is. Some people have this idea, like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to sell. And I'm like, here, look, you're paying me for my advice. Your idea sucks. It's not going to work. And this is based on 17 years of doing this. And I save them a lot of time and money because a lot of other guys, even if they know it's not going to work, they'll say, oh, I love that idea. Here's what we're going to do. You pay me $15,000 and I'll set up a funnel and we'll blah, blah, blah. And for another $500 a month, we'll do your Facebook ads. And you can go on my Facebook page, and you'll see people I turn away to pay me money. Because I'm like, your idea just isn't going to, like, I can't take your money because I don't think it's going to work. Yeah. So I like saving people money. I like helping them. And I think for the $99, if you're somewhat serious, right? I don't think it's a huge thing. If it's your last $100 is between that and like feeding your kid, go feed your kid.
Yeah.
But if it's $99 and you want to kind of test the waters a little bit, I think and I feel really good about that. I know you're going to get many, many times that. Another reason I do it is because it's the best way to learn what my prospects really want. Like, you want to talk about understanding your market. People are like, oh yeah, I go on a forum or I go on a Facebook group and I just watch. And that's one thing, and I get it, but there's nothing in the world more powerful than sitting down and talking to someone and hearing it. And I can't tell you how many times I talk to people where they start crying on the phone because they're upset. They thought it was Kevin Rogers and it's really me. But once they get over that shock, really the emotion and seeing where people are, on their journey. It's a great. I mean, it's helped me create emails. It's given me so many ideas for emails, because if I do like 8 of these back to back, for 2 hours, I've got now 8 different stories, and there's going to be one of them that I could write a powerful email about where there's a story and a message, and it shows people a little bit more serious. And if you look at it at the end of the day, it's still, and I'm never ever going to take any dollar for granted, ever. I don't care if I'm worth $1 billion. You're still if you told me years ago that you can get $400 for 1 hour, because it's $99 for 15 minutes, right? I booked 4 in a row, $400 for an hour to talk to entrepreneurs about their business ideas. The heck do I sign up? I used to make $500 in a month, and I would go 2-3 times a week to New York City, an hour each way, pay $20 for parking to train this kid for 2 hours. Like, it was crazy. I ended up making $3 an hour. So I'm never going to take the money for granted. And when people put that money in there, they have a little skin in the game. And I always get asked, well, this was great. How can I do more? And if I think they're appropriate for coaching, which I don't always do, I'll say, hey, look, I'll send you a link later if you're interested, but I don't pitch them there. Or I'd say, look, I don't think you're right for coaching, but our freedom group is where you want to be, and it's just a buck a day. So either way, and I get so many conversions, and I really don't do it for that. Like, I don't. And they even know, like, I never pitch the coaching,
right,
or anything. But it's a great way to build relationships, to build rapport, and to show people that, man, I'm willing to do this, and I'm never ever going to forget where I came from. When I first started all these years ago, if Dan Kennedy said, hey, for $99 you can get 15 minutes on the phone, I would have jumped at that in a heartbeat. Oh, yeah. I remember buying a program by Fred Gleek. Yeah. It was like a $200 program. And the only reason I bought it was because I got like 30 minutes on the phone with him. And it's funny, I met him at a conference like 10 years later and told them that story. But I mean, that's because I know the value of it as long as you take action. So there's a lot of great reasons to do that kind of stuff. But if you're going to do it and it's going to be a coaching call, then make it a freaking coaching call, because what you don't want to do is say it's a coaching call, $99, and then you turn it into a $99 strategy session. And the whole thing is like, well, where are you now? Where do you want to go? Well, tell me about it. And then at the end, hey, I got a great thing for $20,000. You know, come on, man, cut the bullshit already. Just if it's going to be a strategy session, then make it a strategy session. But mine is never coaching. And people walk away. I never had one person leave saying, man, that wasn't worth it. Never. I am going to break my neck. Help them. So I like it as a strategy. It's a great business. It's a great strategy. And if you did nothing else, you know, for most people, if you did eight of these a day, even if you spaced them out and you work for 2 hours and you make $800 a day, it's, you know, $300,000 a year or whatever that comes. That's a pretty good living, you know, talking for 2 hours a day, helping people in whatever it is, whether it's health coaching or life coaching or business coaching or copy coaching. I mean, not bad. Not a bad way to make a living. And if I wanted to, I could do these all day long.
Yeah. And like you say, I know I feel the same way. I feel energized the happiest thing I ever do in my business is having those kinds of calls. You know, consultation, especially with the first one, you know, if they go on, sometimes you get on retainer and you'll do them for months or something. And you just go, I always put a limit, a 3-month increment on anything. Nothing. I won't book out anything for 6 months or more. You know, I don't like.
Oh, never.
Because you just know, like, really, there's a very good chance that 5 months from now we won't have anything to talk about. And I don't want us to have to get on the phone. You know what I mean? And I love it. Right. But the key thing you said there for me was, you know, you talk about knowing exactly what people want from you and need from you. And I tell you, if you get away from that and you just start looking at stats and data, you know, and it's just not the same as hearing it in a voice. And like you said, you know, I asked you, how do you write these great emails every day? Well, you're having conversations, you know, as a rule, regularly, where people are telling you things they're struggling. Just that story. I mean, how you got that story out of that guy in 15 minutes and we're still able to help him about this amazing, epic change in his life. You know, it's fascinating. But like you said, talk about great teaching material right there alone.
Yeah, well, I also make sure I cut right to it. Like, I know if people start kind of going on and on, and I'll tell you exactly how I do my session. So when people get on, here's exactly what I say. Yeah. Like I mean, I've done the thousands of these now. So I'll say, okay, here's what we don't have a lot of time. First thing, if you could start off, give me like a really brief 1-minute overview of where you are right now with your business. So if you were a health coach, tell me where you are right now with your health. And then I say, what's the one big thing I can help you with, just the one big thing. Because in 15 minutes, you can't do 5 things. You can't say, well, I need a hook for my product. I need this. I need to do traffic. And we got to do one thing. Yeah. So I think those things set up the right way. And if after a minute or two, they're still rambling on, I'm saying, look, I don't mean to cut you off, but we got to get right to it. And I just dive in and I laser focus on what that big thing is. And I just jump right in and I do it without, see, here's the difference. I do it without the idea of, well, I should hold back because I want to sell them coaching. Right. I think when you do that, when you write like that, when you market like that, even when you do an event that's going to lead to a pitch, it changes everything. It changes. You start, you know, you start second guessing yourself. Well, I shouldn't really say this because then they're not going to pay me for, you know, Y. They're not going to, you know, if I give them X, they're not going to pay me for Y. And well, I shouldn't say this because I want to sell them my other product. But I think the reason why my emails work well and why my coaching works well is I truly don't think about that. Like it feels like when I market, I just market loosely, like just relax because I'm like, look, if you buy, cool. And if you don't, that's fine. You know, either way, it's I wish you the best. And if you get into that frame of mind, your marketing truly, I know this sounds like a cheesy product, your marketing, but it really does become effortless. And people are going to start to email you because I have clients who start going through my model and they're like, my God, people used to ignore my emails and my click-throughs were crap. And now I get emails, oh my God, I loved your email. I love your story. I love what you said. It really resonates with me. You're going to start to get that a lot, as opposed to looking at, you know, every stat and every number. And there's a time and a place for that. But when that's your primary driver and your focus, it's stops being organic, it stops being loose, and it starts being, man, I got to make the sale, and people feel it, and they feel the desperation, and it's a hard thing to pinpoint, but I think the overall philosophy is just take a step back, relax, and be like, you know what? I'm just going to give, and I'm truly going to help these people. Like imagine you had $100 million in the bank, and you're just doing this for fun. Imagine how much different your marketing becomes.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like what Dean Jackson says. What would you do if you only got paid if you got your client a result, right? If that, you had to get them the result. It's not about how can I convince somebody to want this or to pay me for this. It's about how do I make sure I'll deliver and worry about the money second. It does seem like an annoyingly counterintuitive thing when you're struggling for money, but I'll say if you're struggling and you continue to struggle, it may be time to like honestly adopt that mindset, because a lot of people just can't get their heads around it.
And the other stuff can and does. Look, I'm not a guy to say the other stuff doesn't work, because there are obviously people who show it does. I'm going to tell you from personal experience and from doing this for a long time and from having clients, especially when I started in the health and fitness market, clients that are still around 15 years later doing it. And in the fitness, if you're not in the fitness world, these names don't mean anything to you, but Alan Cosgrove and Michael Boyle and Zach Evanesh and Elliot Hulse and Mike Geary and Vince Del Monte, Elliot. I said Elliot. There's Pat Beef. There's hundreds of people that are still doing this over a decade later, and their business continues to grow because they're marketing like this. And it's a longer term play. And the people who are in it for the short term and they say, man, I need to make $5,000 next month from zero. What do I do? That's a desperate move, and you might be able to make some short-term money, but it never turns out well. And Kev, you and I have been around the block for a long time. I started with a lot of guys in the marketing stage where they were on the same stage, and now I'm not even like kidding, I really don't even know if they're alive. Like they haven't updated their Facebook page in like 6 years. Like I have and these were people who were like the superstars. Right. I have no idea. They're probably working at Walmart, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they blew it. They blew the opportunity because they went for the quick buck, and they provided shoddy products, and all they did was put every dollar into marketing and nothing into support. I mean, for years and years, the only full-time person I had was customer support. Right. Because that's the most important thing. It's making the sale is one thing, but keeping them for years and years is how you become wealthy. Is why and it takes a little while, because we're talking about building a real business. But when you get in that mindset, it's powerful. But it's hard because it's distracting, because everyone gets on 100 different lists, and I'm on his list, and he keeps oh wow, now I'm going to get 100,000 people with Pinterest tomorrow, and let me buy that product, and they're hopping around like maniacs from one thing to the next and trying to do 100 things at once. And oh my God, this other guy just made $100,000 last month in 1 month. And if I see one more goddamn ad on Facebook, how I built $100,000 a month coaching practice in 8 weeks, just using a Facebook ad, I'm going to go over and strangle the person, because it's like it's the biggest pyramid scheme in the world. Am I the only person who sees this? All right, never mind. I'm not going to go down that road, but but selling coaching to other coaches, to other coaches that coach. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I love is people can hear it. It's genuine, and that's what comes across in your emails. There's this sort of like unintentional cycle of it's like, happy Ryan feels great. Here's what I did with my family, and go out and make it an awesome day and do something nice for yourself. And the next day it'd be like, what pisses me off? These phonies,
I do. It's funny because I'll write emails and I'll be like, oh my God, I sound like a bipolar crazy, because I truly write with my emotion, because everything could be great. Like all of a sudden, I had a great night with my kids. Like even, I had a great day with my kids yesterday and my wife, and everything's good. And I came this morning, and at the beginning of my email, I'm like, are you ready for Monday? It's going to be a great day. And then I did a live Facebook thing. And then I might do a coaching call later with a guy who is pissed off because he has no more money because he just spent $15,000 with some coach, because he promised he's going to make $100,000. He hasn't made a dime. And I said, well, what did the coach say when you went back to him? He's like, oh, he won't return my emails or my calls anymore. He went ghost on me. And I get fired up. Yeah. And then by the next day, I'm stewing over it. I'm like, man, and then I just let it rip. And then, then I get the, Ryan, you should really always be positive. Everything's like, go F yourself. Love your haters. Like, come on, man. Like, that's the thing. That's when my New York comes out. Like, I could meet a person and in 2 seconds tell you what their intentions are. And some of these guys are shady characters, and I can't stand when they take advantage of someone who truly wants to do good work. And I've always had this protector mentality. I feel like, look, man, I got your back. Yeah. And when someone pays me, even if it's $99, like I feel like I got their back. And when I see them getting screwed, it really pisses me off, and I can't keep my mouth shut. Sometimes I should, and has it ruined potential quote unquote friendships? Yeah, but who gives a shit? Really. Right. I really don't get, like, I have enough friends. I got my wife. I have my wife, my family. I've got. I could probably count the number of real friends in this marketing business that I have, like on one hand. Yeah. You're one of them. Chris Farrell, Stu McLaren. Like, there's just a handful of guys that I've known, that I've broken bread with, that I've sat and talked with. And the other guys, you don't know if they're friends with you because they like you or because they want you to, like, do the old, hey, can you promote my thing?
Yeah, right.
And it just, you gotta
coming. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I just had a guy approach me with that. But anyway, I don't want to go off on tangents. Come on, keep it going, Kev.
I can get it fired up. I want to respect your time, but I want to talk about.
Screw my time. Let's do this shit.
I wanted to, obviously family is a huge thing from you. You, like me, are incredibly close with your family, your kids. I know. I feel for us, it's like we're a unit, we're a team. You know what I mean? It's like it's such a nucleus that it is hard to travel because I feel immediately like I'm out of balance. You're also very close with your dad. Was at Freedom Fest, Bruce Lee. And let me ask you,
his name,
Bruce Lee. Yeah, I mean, and he looks fantastic. You got some good genes, man. What is, would you say, the most important lesson that you've learned from your dad?
Well, from my mom and dad, right? The number one lesson, well, there's really two. And my mom, unfortunately, she passed away 6 years ago from cancer, and it's still hard, thinking about that. But they were always, family first. Like, that's always been the core of our life, our existence, like family. It's everything, and that's why it's like family. But in terms of a lesson I've learned from my dad, business lesson, which is, I think, why I am like I am. He owned a retail store for about 25 years called the Yarn Barn. Believe it or not, it was a yarn store. It used to be my grandmother's. She passed away, and then my dad took it over. So it was a family business, and he owned it for like 25 years. And the old ladies in the 70s used to come to him with the knitting and the needlepoint, and they loved, like, oh, Bruce, the sweetest guy. They loved my dad, and my dad is probably the nicest guy that ever lived. Like, if you've met him, he gives you hugs. Like, he's such a warm, personable guy. He used to now. Looking back, when I was a kid, I was embarrassed because I remember, like, going to the shoe store and I'd be like 15 or 16, and I remember this. It was like, a cute girl waiting on us. My dad would be like, "Oh, hey, Ryan's single. Why don't you guys go on a date?" I'm like, "Dad, I'm gonna freaking kill you." But he always treated everyone well, whether it was the standard hotel, whether it's the manager of the hotel or the maid cleaning the rooms. He was so nice to everybody and treated everyone really, really well and made them feel special. And I've really had that, like, everywhere he would go. Every waiter we would sit down to, he'd start up a conversation. Where you from? Where do you go to school? And you just don't see it that often. And I learned that to just sit and take my time and be nice to people and be respectful and treat everyone really well, to the point where, like, it comes second nature to me. Like, of course that's what you do. Mm-hmm. But I guess, I did a mastermind group a couple months ago. I remember, and a guy was there, and he was doing coffee, and he kind of burned his hand a little bit. One of my attendees, I'm like, "Oh man, are you all right? Hold on, let me." And I ran to the front desk to get him an ice pack and did it. And he was like, "But I don't remember the words, but it's something like, you're Ryan Lee. What the hell are you doing getting me ice? You shouldn't be doing this." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Your hand's burned." He's like, "But why you, like, I wouldn't think you, like, what am I gonna run away and punch you in the face? Like, what are you talking? Like, of course, like, how do you burn yourself, asshole? That's what you do. You're a good human being. I was raised Jewish, and there's a word called mensch, and a mensch is being a good person. And I've always lived my life trying to be a mensch, and I try to have that carry over into business and into life and to everything I do. And it's served me pretty well. And that's really what I learned from my dad. Like, he just embodies that. You know, everyone, you won't find anyone to say a bad thing about my dad. And I try to, I try to do that. Do I always make the right decision? No. Have I done stupid promotions or sold products I shouldn't have? Absolutely. Do I still make mistakes? Yeah. I always try to do the right thing. My heart's in the right place. And if I do screw up, I learn the lesson and be like, all right, how can I make sure we don't make that mistake again?
Yeah.
So the little things like if someone joins your membership, you know what? Could we make a little bit more money by giving them a run around, trying to get their refund? They have to email us, during a certain time, or they have to call, in a 5-minute. Oh, do you want to stay for just $20 a month? Can we increase revenue 2%, 3%? Yeah, but you know what? If I treat others the way I want to be treated, you know what? If you don't like it, if it's not for you, that's cool. Here's a link. Go cancel your membership yourself. We're not even going to try to save it. We wish you the best.
I'm the same way.
And it makes life so much easier. Rather than trying to chase every dollar. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would even out just the man hours and the stress and the strategizing around how to. It's like that's how I want to be treated. It's like, man, it should be one message. Don't want this anymore. How do I cancel? Right. Yes, sir. Here you go. Okay, thank you.
Right.
And then I can go on and go. I tried it and it was good. It just wasn't for me. And that's the review. I think as much about, and I know you do too, is the reviews from people who didn't remain members as the ones who do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are they saying? Right?
Oh yeah, you get so much. Right. What was it? Was it the content? We had one person cancel once, and he, just thought he was the most advanced marketer on the planet. Granted, he wasn't making any money, never did. But okay, we wish you the best. Here's another coach you can go pay $30,000 to, and I wish you.
Right,
but it wasn't for him, and that's cool. It's fine.
Right, and exactly, and just at the end of the day, for somebody to have a bad experience trying to cancel something that they may have been perfectly happy with before and just too distracted to use or whatever, yes, I would love to keep everybody 100% engaged and get the full value out of what we've created, but it's just not possible. And so you might as well make life easy and make that as much customer service. Yeah. Our buddy Brian Kurtz says this all the time. Customer support is as much a part of your marketing as a call to action is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's 100% right on. And most people don't spend any time on that. It's afterthought. And it's why I'm so hesitant. There are some marketers who create some really good products or good software, but I know they'll support it. I know that they do the software and they're on to the next thing. And if this thing breaks, they're never going to support it because it was a one time of 47. It has to end in a 7, of course. So they're never going to support it. So I can't, in good conscience, support it. And there are some marketers with some bigger software programs that a lot of people know about that I won't promote it for like a year because I want to see that they're serious about it. I want to see that they're behind it and support it before I really promote it because I don't want to have egg on my face. They're saying, Ryan, man, I trusted you, and these guys are hacks. And the thing that gets me nervous is when someone does a really good software program, and then immediately they start selling like coaching groups for it and upselling. It's like, my God, man, I'm paying you like $100, $200 a month. Like, do you have to keep upselling me another premium version? Oh, now I got to do a coaching group. Like, what? How about this? How about for $100 a month, you give me the coaching with it? What about that? What about you actually include it so I'm freaking blown away?
Yeah. Right.
Here's an idea. Why not? Why try? It's just, again, I think it's short term, and I get the reason why they do it business wise. But I just love to put myself in the shoes of the customer, and I'm like, how can I just wow them? Yeah, where we get where I said, hey guys, we're gonna for freedom, we're gonna do an affiliate program, and I should show you the post. We had hundreds of people say, I refer this all the time. I don't even want an affiliate commission. It's that good. How many times do other people say that with other programs? Not that often. And I'm not doing this to toot my own horn. It's because I keep thinking, how can I add more value, as opposed to, and the one term I despise more than anything is extract money out of people. If you use the word extract money, and you and I talked about this, tripwire, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a shitty way. It's a shitty way to think about business. Shitty way to think about your customers.
Agreed. What I love is you and I remember our Skype chat, we talked about Tripwire, and you were like, isn't it just a shitty way to think about a customer? And we came up with Welcome Mat as an alternative. And every once in a while.
Wait, you did. You
What? No, it was a conversation that we were having. I mean, I said the words, but still. But every once in a while, see people use that term who don't have any idea where it came from. It's just an alternative term, and I'm like, that's awesome. You know, I like that.
Yeah. Well, we were definitely. You said it. I did the blog post about it. Really was the thing, and I think Noah Kagan even called software the welcome mat in one of the app things, and I don't even know if he got it from us, but yeah, it's become a term.
Yeah, it's just a much.
And it's funny because I said it. Yeah, it's a thing, but I hear it. It's funny because sometimes I'll hear someone say the word, "Oh yeah," then I set up a tripwire, and it just I get the chill. I'm like, oh man, no, we don't call it that. We don't call it.
You correct him? Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm like, please don't use that word around. What does a tripwire do? It
blow someone's leg
What a
off.
great way to start off your relationship. Yeah. Welcome. I'm gonna blow you. Well, here's grenade. You know, here's
Sales grenade. My new product from JV.
Here's our decapitation downsell. You know.
Oh God. That's great. All right, brother. This is great, man. I want to.
Come on, man. This is why we got to do it. Podcast
I know,
together,
dude.
Kev.
We should.
Just do this.
We could record like 5 20-minute episodes. What in a day? You know, once every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Boom.
We're just gonna do. It's gonna be a podcast whenever we feel like it. No schedule. You and I will get on. We'll record a bunch of episodes. Put it out there. If you don't like it,
let's do it.
Go F yourself. If you like it, we'll do another. Feel like it. Done.
That's what I've done with Carlton, and it's been beautiful. It's like, you know, people are always going, when's the next one? That's what you want, you know? Not like, I know, there'll be another one next week. I'll skip this one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Done.
Cool. All right. So, and hopefully, and we'll make sure we get you better audio next time. I don't know what happened. So, but, you know, what I always think, if the audio is not perfect, people will listen closer.
Absolutely.
With those little gaps. I'm going to go in and do a voiceover and like pretend you were saying something totally different. And there's moments where it cut out.
It could be like the old Bruce Lee movies I used to watch on Saturday mornings where it's all dubbed over.
Or you know what I love is
provide no value.
Yeah. No, right, exactly. Who's the is it Jimmy Kimmel who does the censor? You know, like he beeps people when they're not swearing, but it sounds like they're swearing. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Just beat me the whole time.
I'll just beep you every time there's a gap. All right. All right, brother. Thanks, man, for doing this. Another great interview, and love everything you're doing. You know, I'm your biggest fan. So we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, bro. All right. And everyone listening, thank you so much for having me. And enjoy. Keep listening to Kevin Rogers. You can't go wrong with K-Raj, baby.
K-Raj. Freedom. FREEDYM.com. Go get all Ryan's got to do. Hey, thanks again for listening to the Truth About Marketing podcast. If you like this show and you think other people would like this show, the best way to spread the word is by reviewing and rating the show in iTunes. Just log in, click review, leave a big old fat 5-star review, and let everybody know that you dig the show so that they can dig it too. To get all the links and resources we mentioned on today's episode, please go to copychief.com/TAM, as in Truth About Marketing. And if you'd like to learn more about how you can improve your sales copy with templates, formulas, coaching, feedback, or hiring a pro, do all that on the inside of the members area of copychief.com, and I will look for you there. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.